Good evening. I'd like to call to order the March 19th meeting of the Board of Zoning Appeals. Mr. Cunningham, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, if you would rise?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Dar, could we get a roll call, please? Present.
Here.
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 Thank you. I will entertain a motion for the approval of the February 19th meeting minutes.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to approve all the meeting minutes for February 19th, 2019 as stated.
I have a first, so I have a second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed was no. So 4-0. Okay, let's start this evening with petition number 1, the variance of developmental standards for James Heimbuch for continued placement of a mobile home. The last variance was granted on March 20th, 2018 for 1 year for the property located at 8170 East Ivy Boulevard, New Carlisle, Indiana, Hudson Township, zoned R1B.
Thank you.
If you would please give your paperwork to our attorney.
Let's see any comments. What's that?
This guy's got his beat up pretty good.
Weather woodchuckers.
We have no remonstrance.
Notice is adequate.
Thank you. Would you state your name and address for the record, please?
James Heimbuch, 8170 East Ivy Boulevard, New Carlisle, Indiana.
All right, James. Why don't you explain to me why you want to keep that mobile home on the property for another year?
I really don't have a choice. It's just me and my granddaughter, and I can't afford to go anywhere else. It's really all I got.
Okay, so you and your granddaughter are living there? You're the only two residents?
Yes.
Great.
16.
I feel like when we saw you last year, there was some concerns about the condition of the mobile home, that it was maybe in need of some attention.
Yeah, we did the power wash and cleaned it and painted some. And
Okay.
So is it fair to say that your intent is just to stay in that mobile home then?
as long as I can.
Okay.
Okay, we have a letter that the Board of Zoning Appeals received. I'm going to read it. My letter is being written in regards to trailer at 8170 Ivy Boulevard, New Carlisle, Indiana. This trailer is located in a residential area around Hudson Lake, and it is used as a permanent residence by a person named James B. I don't recall his last name in full. Evidently, every year at this time, all the surrounding residents around his trailer are given the opportunity to disapprove the presence of this trailer in our neighborhood. Evidently, the certified mail that was most likely mailed to us actually was sent to our prior residence in Wyoming. Therefore, not yet receiving this certified mail as we did last year, this is the form that I wish to express total objection to this trailer being there. It is a dilapidated trailer that simply does not belong there. It most definitely is a detraction from the nearby home's property values. Another huge reason that I strongly object to this trailer being allowed there is because of loud and belligerent, irate, drunken behavior from James B. and other persons he has allowed to live there. We've been subjected to this appalling behavior along with strong suspicions of hardcore street drugs being bought and used there. While trying to enjoy some peace and serenity in my own backyard, I've been forced to overhear loud arguing with references to heroin and the accusations of someone being a heroin addict. In fact, I've been extremely embarrassed when a male individual that James B. was allowing to live there in the trailer last summer approached a hired contractor of mine that was working in my front yard and asked the contractor if he wanted to buy heroin. This utterly disgusted me and made me very concerned, not only of this activity of itself, but the kind of rift-raft, undesirables, and thieves that this type of drug activity festers. By the way, I did formally report this incident to the LaPorte County Drug Task Force. We, as well as other nearby neighbors, have made and are making investments in our homes and that property with absolute hopes of at least maintaining our property values. What I've just described to you in this letter are the exact kind of conditions and allowed behaviors that ruin neighborhoods and plummet property values if it is allowed to continue. We absolutely do not wish for this to be in our neighborhood. Thank you, and we appreciate and respect a response and decision that is favorable to our wishes. Mr. and Mrs. Lazar, Lesar, 7559 North Catalpa Lane, New Carlisle.
Well, that was a temporary situation. That was last spring. I had my daughter and her boyfriend move in, and they stayed with me for a few months, and I didn't realize how bad it was going to get. But they no longer, that was just a temporary thing. They no longer live there or anything.
So it's just you and your granddaughter then?
It is now.
Do we have any additional remonstrators this evening for the petition, either for or against? Any additional remonstrators? Any questions or concerns from the board?
It does look like it still needs some continuing cleanup.
Yes, absolutely.
Quite a bit.
And my son just moved back from the West Coast, and he told me he'd help me with some of it this summer.
Okay. But he's not going to be living with it?
No.
What do you think? Another year?
Whereas he did do as we asked. I mean, the property does look much more
I agree.
upkept.
There's improvement.
It's more appealing than what it was.
Yeah, I'm going to continue.
The yards being kept up. I guess I think if we would do something, we might consider just doing it for a year again, just because it has been an ongoing problem. I mean, we are trying to get these trailers taken out, but we have been letting the residents, live their lives, and we're just not transferring them or allowing them to go on to another generation or to another ownership.
Right.
But it is a hardship on several people getting rid of their homes, and it's
Part
hard.
of my issue was I was doing chemo all last year.
Yeah, I do remember we were
that.
going through some
and it
illness.
slowed things up a little.
So
Yeah, that'll do it.
I think he's working on making the appearance much better.
I'm in agreement with everything the board has said, and I will be supporting a one-year extension. But certainly, if you came back a year from now and we still see the same thing in the back, I would be very concerned about that.
My son's also taking the boat. That'll clear a lot of that up.
Thank you very much. That's 100% better on the front side from what I saw a year ago, so I agree with that.
I'll entertain a motion.
I'll give you the motion, Madam President. A petition for a variance of developmental standard for James Hembrox for continuing placement of a mobile home for a one-year period. This property is located at 8170 East Ivy Boulevard. That's now New Carlisle, Hudson Township. It's zoned R1B. And with that, make sure it's cleaned up and more presentable when you come back in the next year if it passes.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Good luck. You've got one more year. And just as a reminder, we're not going to ask you to come back to the board. It's going to be your responsibility to come back in within that year period.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to petition number 2 is a petition for variance of developmental standards for Barry and Shirley Pontius to construct a second accessory building 30 feet by 48 feet with the height at 20 feet instead of the minimum 18 feet. This property is located at 302 West, 250 South LaPorte, Scipio Township, zoned R1A. If you have your legal work for our attorney, please.
Madam President, change the word minimum to maximum in both number 2 and number 5, please.
Thank you. Mr. Cunningham?
It was marked out very well.
Annie, did you save the publication on this one?
Yes,
Okay, I don't have a date. Do you have a date on when it was published?
there's no date.
Sir, did you get an affidavit from the newspaper?
I got that copy from Miss Darlene.
It was in there
Yeah, but
Like,
what day did they
2
put?
weeks ago. They only publish every Friday.
Okay, so, but it was published more than 10 days ago?
Absolutely.
Okay. Service is adequate.
Thank you. If you would state your name and address for the record.
Barry Pontius, 302 West 250 South.
Okay.
LaPorte.
Barry, why don't you tell us about your petition for variance tonight?
Well, when we moved into the house, we purchased it 2 years ago, and there was no outside storage. So with lawnmower and lawn furniture and things, we put up a 12 by 17 building, storage building on a slab that was existing on the property, and quickly outgrew that. And so, and then we bought an
Can't
RV.
understand why.
We bought an RV and we bring it home in the wintertime, and rather than keep it outside, I'd like to keep it inside a structure, plus take the overflow out of my garage so I can get vehicles in my garage again. And the 12-foot by 12-foot overhead door was to be able to fit my RV in there. I need at least 11'6" clearance. Yeah.
Now, normally Dwayne would ask this question, are you sure this is going to be big enough?
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. And for toys, too.
We're going to add water,
No, sir.
electric?
Eventually. Right now, I just want to get the building up, and then I have to upgrade my service to 200 amp service before I can get the permit to do the electric inside. My goal is to get the building up and the driveway put in by the end of the year.
Do we have any remonstrators this evening for petition number 2? Any remonstrators, either for or against?
One thing I might want to add too to that, if
Please.
It said 18-foot clearance, and if I do my math right, a 14-foot ceiling height and a 3-on-12 or 4-on-12 pitch is just going to be inches over 18 foot at the peak.
So you're not actually going to be as high as 20 feet?
No. If I do my math right, 4-on-12 would be.
Yeah, I'd recommend if the board's so inclined, but make it 20 feet
20,
so we
I
don't have
agree.
an issue.
If we leave it at the 20 feet, then that gives you a little
It'd be
extra
less
room.
than.
Okay, it'll be considerably less.
Do you have a concept of what it's going to look like on the outside? I mean, you're in a
It's gonna-
highly residential area, and
It's going to
there-
match the house
Oh, it is.
color-wise.
Facade will be
with
the same?
With a brown trim to match the house. And same thing we did with the garden shed to match the house.
Okay.
So, and we've made a lot of improvements to the house since we moved in there. Granted that it was, from what I hear in the neighborhood, it was an eyesore. The people that bought it refurbished it, and we moved from Elkhart to LaPorte, and we've done a lot of improvements. Put a chain link fence around the backyard and the shed up outside, and did some improvements inside, decorating wise. They did a fantastic job of remodeling the house.
Wonderful.
If you're familiar with that, I'm sure everybody in the neighborhood can tell you what it was.
No remonstrators. Having no remonstrators, is there anything additional from the board? Comments, questions, or concerns?
Madam President, I'd move that we approve the petition for the variance of developmental standards for Barry and Shirley Pontius to construct a second accessory building, 30 by 48, with a height at 20 feet or less. The property is located at 302 West, 250 South, LaPorte, Indiana, in Scipio Township, zone R1A.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Your
Thank
motion
you very much
passed.
for your time.
Good luck. Thank you. Okay, petition number 3 this evening is a petition for variance of use for Jamison Luther Barnett for 4 storage units with office and plumbing. The property is west of 8834 West US 20 in Michigan City, Indiana, Cool Spring Township, zoned B2 on 3.731 acres.
Okay, what I want to do is,
Actually, if you wait just a moment, we want to make sure all your legal work's in order before we
Okay.
proceed.
Notice is adequate.
Thank you. Now, if you would state your name and address for the record.
all right, my name is Jameson Barnett. My address is 6556 West 300 North, LaPorte, Indiana.
And Jamie, give me a little bit more information about your request here tonight.
Okay. I purchased this property a while back, and I want to utilize the space to the, best, being that it's on the highway. I had a couple of investors. I still got them. They kind of want to wait a little bit, to put these buildings on. On the front here, I want to develop this. I want to put retail buildings, as I go along on the frontage part. And then the back, it's 330 feet deep. So you really don't need all that land back there for retail up front there. So I figured the best way to utilize that property would be to put storage units on the back, being that it's in between 3 major apartment complexes, and the surrounding ones, certain units, they're running out of them too. So, especially the climate-controlled ones. These, the guys that were going in, they wanted to pump the brakes a little bit. They had some problems with they got some things going on where they're working at. So, but I haven't got it cleared anyway. The ground's clay out there, and clay takes forever to absorb water, and it takes forever to let it go. So the weather's kind of been slowing things up a little bit. So in the meantime, I do want to put one building up here that's permitted under the B3. So if you guys do approve it, where I got the office right there. Actually, I might have changed the size of that. Anyway, that corner right there, I want to put a building there that's permitted use there, and I want to move that office in there. Just in case everything falls through with this, I don't want to stick it my permitted building here, then have a space over there. I want to put it on the corner.
Okay, so you're still going with that 20 by 25 foot building?
I wanted to change that because there would have been a big gap right there and nothing to put there. So
Let me see. So it looks like a rectangular building, 25 feet by 160.
So you'll have an office and then some storage behind it, is what you're saying. You'll get started with the storage connected to the office.
Yeah, I figured, since the utilities and everything is going to be heated.
If I can get you back to the podium so we can get you on record, please. Thank you.
Yeah, I figured everything, since everything's going to be heated right there anyway, it'd be good to add a little bit of more climate controlled units right there.
What was that size, 25 by what?
160.
How close would that building be to the east edge of your property?
30 feet.
Thank you.
And you're still going to stay 25 feet away from the north property line?
I want that office building, I want to move that because I want to put a different building there now while I'm waiting on these guys. Yes, I want to move that office building to the west. I'd say add another 150 feet to that, so about 180 feet. From the east property line.
Build big building here, put this one here. Gotcha.
And so the storage units you're proposing, are going to be all climate controlled?
No. Two of them are. They're real expensive to put up.
Right.
So, I mean, our proposed, what we had all decided was we was going to go with two and then move another two in there as they fill up, you know. They're all the doors and everything, they're not cheap.
I think what I'm hearing is we'd love for you to come up forward to the bench again and draw on here the buildings that you're proposing so that we have a clear understanding of your additional footage.
Just move it right over. Because I'm going to put a permitted building up here. Welding supplies. Retail.
Okay. Thank you. And B2 it is.
This is all commercial property. I have to get that approved by the state highway anyway.
Yeah.
State highway is going to have to approve your.
Oh yeah, I've been through them just to get those two driveways in there. Yeah, it's a little hard to judge when you look at it because this isn't to scale. So.
Yeah, but the state will tell you where the dimensions will be and where to put it, best plot.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, do we have any remonstrators this evening for petition number 3? Anybody for petition number 3 or against? Seeing none, do we have any further questions or comments from our
If there is a
attorney?
positive vote, if there is a positive motion, just call it a variance and special exception. Cover both.
A use variance and special exception. Do we have any other comments or questions or clarifications from the board? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we grant a use variance and special exemption to Jamison Luther Barnett for a storage building 25 by 160 to be located as shown on the map. This property is not have an address yet. Is listed as just west of 8834 West, U.S. Highway 20, Michigan City, Indiana, Cool Spring Township, Zone B2.
Can I just clarify that your motion includes the 4 storage units and the office building?
Okay, I didn't know we were going to do so including the 4 storage units that were shown and to be pictured, along with, I believe the office is already okay. So, do we need to put the exception to have the plumbing in the office or not? No. Okay.
The office is permitted.
Okay. So, along with the 4 storage buildings.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks for your investment.
Thanks. I'm trying.
I think it looks like a good spot for storage. Okay, petition number 4, the petition for variance of developmental standards for Terry West and Luz West to construct an accessory structure of 2,000 square feet, even with the residence. The property is located at 6361 East State Road 2, Rolling Prairie. That's in Indiana Wills Township, zoned R1B on 5.32 acres. If you have your legal work ready for our attorney, please.
Good news.
Notice is adequate.
Thank you. If you would state your name and address for the record, please.
Terry West, 6361 East State Road 2, Rolling Prairie.
Terry, give me some more information on 2,000 square feet. Let's hear all about it.
I don't know if any of you have been down State Road 2, but we collect a lot of vintage Volkswagens, and they're pretty much, the trailers and everything are just off the driveway into my woods. I want to clean all that up. Where we lived before, I had a 50 by 100 pole barn, so I didn't have any any issues. So here we have nothing but a 2-car garage.
Right.
No.
So do you anticipate all of the vehicles that are on the property currently are going to be housed within the structure?
Everything, even the trailers.
Everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just going to be cold storage.
Are you planning on putting electric or
In the future,
water
maybe.
in there?
My panel's 200 amp service and it's already maxed out, so probably nothing major. If anything, it'll be just a 110 circuit in the future.
You don't do any kind of business fixing automobiles at this location?
No.
It's just storage for your
Yeah.
personal
Except working on my own vehicles.
storage and
Yeah.
maintenance of your personal vehicles?
Yes, ma'am.
We do have a letter of remonstrance.
Well, it's actually a phone message,
positive- a
a phone
positive.
message in writing. But the neighbor, Ray Kowalski, called and he says he has no problem with the location of the new pole barn.
Thank you. Do I have any other remonstrators, either for or against this petition? Any other remonstrators?
I have a quick question.
Yes.
You said 2,000 square feet. Where will that be in relationship to the house?
Just to the right. I had a plat drawn up with
Okay,
it on it.
we didn't get it on
I'm not
here.
a plat.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Gotcha. It's pretty well wooded all around there anyway. You're not going to be able to
yeah.
see it anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
It'd be good to have that stuff in storage, put back.
Oh, yeah.
I agree.
I agree.
I
I
think your neighbors would probably like that a lot.
think that's the right answer. Ready for a motion?
Do we have any additional questions, comments, or concerns of the board? If not, I will entertain a motion.
Madam President, make a motion to accept the developmental standards for Terry West and Les West to construct accessory structure 2,000 square foot, even with the resident. This property is located at 6361 East State Road 2 down in Rolling. So in R1B, it's got 5+ acres.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Good luck.
Thank
All
you.
approved.
Now I
Thank you.
just go and get the permit?
You're going to meet up at the building department and they'll help you through the permit.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, petition number 5 this evening is a petition for variance of developmental standards for William Johannes and Jennifer Dement for construction of a second accessory structure 30 by 40 feet with a height of 22 feet instead of the maximum 18 feet. This property is located at 5142 West, 450 North, LaPorte, Indiana, Center Township, zoned R1B on 2 acres. And he's presenting his legal work to our attorney right now.
Good, right on it. That's beautiful property. It's pretty in effect. This is nice.
Annie, do you have a list of adjoining property owners? I didn't get one.
It's in there, sir.
The list?
But usually, I don't know.
Oh, okay. I got it.
You got it?
Pretty nice, really. Really. Well, I got the front side, back side, full bar.
Well, Jesus. Get to the notices.
Very nice.
Can read this too.
40, probably 60 by 60. Yeah. 60 by 60 would be better. It's beautiful.
Sir, I see you have the tracking showing they're unclaimed, but it doesn't tell me who you sent it to. Do you have anything showing me who you sent the certified mail to on these?
Yeah, yes.
So they're all here. Each one is a track of the
Oh, you have,
property it was sent to.
oh, you stapled to this. Oh, okay.
Sorry. These are the one to the west, which is notice the building is here. Final field address is here.
Okay. I'm confused. Okay. You've done this in a very unique way. I'll put it that way. You have John Pavey and Tom McClure, but these cards are for.
Those are the two that were returned. That's the one on the west, which is right. One of them, all the names is there.
Okay,
The one from
but
Illinois.
where are these two?
Those three are right here.
Okay, well, we're going right back to where we were to begin with. I need to know that you tried to send it to the person. This doesn't tell me who you sent it to. Do you have anything showing who you sent it to?
These did not come back.
Well, I understand they didn't come back,
Yeah.
but you've got to fill this in when you send them so I can verify who you sent it to. This shows me.
Post office handed
Yeah,
it back.
this shows me you mailed it. Okay, nobody's questioning you mailed it, but the next step is to whom you mailed it.
That's the way they gave it back.
Okay. I suggest we postpone and
Gotta go to-
renotice.
gotta go to
Okay,
first.
for next, we're gonna have to postpone because it's a statutory prerequisite for them, for the board to hear this. So you're gonna have to redo these three. Okay, and we can, if the director, the president announces when the next meeting is, that's sufficient for these. Okay, but for these two, that is John Pavey and Thomas McClure, do it again. But make sure you fill in the receipt, and if they don't claim it, that way you have proof that you mailed it to those individuals, okay? Sorry about that, but those are the rules. And you don't need to republish either. Just need to do the certified to these three people, or these two people, okay? So you can take all that with you.
April 16th.
Yep, I'm gonna keep this for the record, okay?
Table till April.
Yep.
Can I get this done?
Yep. And there's another folder there too.
Just as they-
Yeah, they never put the name on that receipt that I've seen. Sure. I'm gonna put these so they're in evidence, okay? Okay,
No,
yeah.
there.
Just make an announcement on when the next meeting date is.
April the 16th at 6 o'clock.
Need a motion to postpone it? Yes.
Yes.
Madam President, I'd like to make a motion to postpone petition number 5, as it's on our docket tonight. The petition for variance of developmental standard for William Johannes and Jennifer DeMitt to construct a secondary accessory building 30 by 40 with the heights 22 feet to the maximum 18 feet. This property is located at 5142 West, 450 North, LaPorte. That's in center, zone R1B at 2 acres, to the next meeting, which is April 16th.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We'll see you on April 16th. The meeting starts at 6 o'clock. Thank you. Petition number 6 is a petition for variance of use for Scott and Michelle Duza and Julian Vasquez, prospective buyer, to run a wedding venue on weekends, seasonal being April 30th through October 30th, for the property located at 4899 East 700 North Rolling Prairie, Indiana, Galena Township, zoned ag on 14.39 acres.
Just two of them.
Did you see this one?
Yeah, she gave you the wrong
No,
one.
no, this is,
It's a do-back. Did the flip-flop on us.
I said, you want to put it there, we have a problem. Oh, I see.
Did you look this one up on the website? I found the thing that was kind of the most interesting about the thing.
No, this is adequate.
Thank you. Would you mind stating your name and address for the record,
Sure,
please?
Julian Vasquez, 1163 Burns Boulevard in Chesterton, Indiana.
Julian, could you explain your petition request for us this
Sure.
evening?
For the last 6 months, I started looking at properties and stuff. I want to look for some kind of investment for me to retire, for retirement. So what I've been out looking for, Porter County, LaPorte County, and Lake County, Indiana. I've been looking for a property with some sort of water feature on or a pond, maybe an acre or two, whatever. I like to start hosting weddings on the weekends and stuff. I did a catering job with a couple of guys from church that last year and 1 year before that, and just thought it was a beautiful setting and stuff. And I just saw an opportunity to help let people get married and at the same time host weddings on the weekend. I like doing hospitality when I used to have my other home before I downsized to a smaller house, but I feel like right now it's something that's on my heart right now that I want to do, and I'm just trying to find the right property right now to host weddings. And again, it's only going to be on the weekends, and it's not going to be heated barn or any air conditioning because it's an outdoor wedding venue, and it's something I was looking for. And I figured with the 14 acres of land too, and with the 2 pastures they had, there would be adequate parking there. At least park a couple hundred cars if I needed to. So that's kind of why I found this one property. I thought it was a beautiful piece of property. I figured it was far enough away from neighbors where they wouldn't complain, but they still may, and that's up. That's why I'm here today. And that's it's kind of where I'm at right now.
Well, first of all, we're very, very glad you chose LaPorte County.
Absolutely.
Absolutely glad. That's
We'd love
Thank
to
you.
bring economic growth to
Yes.
the county whenever possible. There's an existing structure on the
Correct.
property. Is that going to stay on?
No, that's the one that I would actually like to use. It's a riding arena right now, and I'd like to convert it and use it to host that's where they have the reception at, where they would actually get married down by the water and then have the reception inside that's not really what I was anticipating. I was looking for a barn, but I mean, when I saw the riding arena in there, I'm like, man, this is beautiful in there. I already know the outside structure needs to be retarped, and that's going to be like $30,000 if we do it because it needs to be replaced, and I know that, and I know it still needs flooring in there. You got to put bathrooms in there. And
water, electric, everything.
Beg your pardon?
Water, electric.
I'm sorry?
Bathrooms, water, electric.
Well, yeah, it already has electric in there right now, but it doesn't have an adequate floor because it's just a sand floor, so I'd have to have concrete poured in there, and obviously I'd have to come to you if you approved it for the planning. I don't know what I can do, what I can't do as far as that, but I have to obviously follow the rules. And I know the first year I wouldn't be putting in bathrooms right off the bat because it costs a lot of money, so what I would do is have outdoor, really high-end, nice bath. Yeah, they have really nice ones nowadays where they come in and change them out weekly and stuff, so.
Madam President, if I may. But eventually, you're essentially going to have a barn with water?
Correct.
Okay. I would
You have to have a
suggest,
septic system put in there.
okay,
For the bathrooms, I understand
I
that.
would suggest you amend your petition because you're asking for a variance of use, and that would be just for the venue itself.
Correct.
Okay. But if you amend and say you're also asking for a variance for developmental standards,
Okay.
then we can include the bathroom, septic, and water. Okay.
That would
While
be
you're
a-
here,
that would be separate, correct?
just ask the board to amend your petition.
Okay.
You won't have to come back that way.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead. So I would ask for water, variance for the water. Allow
Yeah,
for
this would
water
be
and bathrooms.
a variance for developmental standards.
Standards.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for asking.
Bathroom.
Yes, I'm confused. I thought it was going to do it in the arena and not have a plan.
Well, eventually he wants it, so he might as well get it now.
Move this on the other hand.
Yeah,
You want to move?
it's
What kind of hours? I know we're talking about weekends.
Yeah,
But
so
what kind
right
of
now,
hours are we
yeah, so the
talking
hours,
about?
I mean, weddings is probably around 4 or 5 o'clock, but I would have it shut down by 10 o'clock. Alcohol would be stopped being served at 9 o'clock, and I would like everybody out of there by 10 o'clock, have it shut down by 10 and then get everybody out of there, because if you're going to have one the next day, I got to get it set up for the next day anyway for cleaning.
So we're looking at Friday, Saturday,
Friday, Saturday,
only?
possibly Sundays. I don't think Sundays are, too many people get married on Sundays. You got to go to work the next day.
So,
Probably be mostly Fridays and Saturdays.
okay, so worst case scenario, 4 o'clock in the afternoon until,
I would imagine
10?
10 o'clock
Do you
at
wanna-
night. Yeah, because I'd imagine the weddings is probably going to start around 4 o'clock, and then it'll go right into the reception. So let's well, I can, if you have to have a time, but let's make it 4 to 10 then.
As long as you feel that's
I
adequate.
would say I'm
No,
not,
I think that should be fine. I mean,
Noon
people,
to 10 would be better in case somebody wanted to start waiting at 2 o'clock. So they
I
could
mean,
get home if they
you
were
know-
coming from any distance.
right. Well, that's why I want, even with the people out, coming from out of town and stuff, I wanted to get together with the local hotels you have there and have a bus shuttle
Sure.
back and forth, because I know there's adequate enough room there for them to turn around too. So I was thinking, with that, and obviously using the local caterers too to help,
Sure.
for the community
It's
as well.
good to give yourself enough
Wonderful,
time
yeah.
to think up
Sure.
front of it. Don't handcuff yourself.
Sure.
and no hours on Sunday?
I'd say I didn't really, to be honest with you, I didn't really give it much thought. But we can.
If you're gonna make it open, make it open. Yeah.
Beg your pardon?
If you're gonna do it, you might as well ask for it now.
Okay, let's do 2 o'clock, 8 o'clock. 2 in the afternoon till 8 at night
On Sunday?
on Sundays.
2 to 8 on
2
Sunday.
to 8 p.m.
12 to 10 Saturday.
What
Friday,
kind of signage are you thinking about for the
Signage?
business? Yeah.
Well, right now it would just be market. I would obviously have a web page. I'd have to have it market. I wouldn't do it right off the bat because obviously it's going to take about a year to get it really up and running before it be word of mouth. And I would
This is
imagine.
again where you want to ask for this now, so that we
Doesn't
don't have
come
to
back
come
later.
back and see us.
No,
So
that's,
You want to have a
Do
name
we
sign
want-
so people know where to turn in, et
turn
cetera.
here,
That's what they're talking about.
do you want something 4x8?
I'd probably
Something
wanna
with a
put-
light
that's
on
good-
it?
To be honest with you, I didn't even think about that. To be honest with you, that's a good question. I didn't think about even having a big sign
Well,
out there. I mean, I'd probably have some.
Ask for a sign.
Ask,
And ask for
can I get a variance for some
Ask
signing
for
that
it.
too, please?
ask for a bigger one than you think you might want.
Usually helps.
Is 4x8 going to be large enough?
A
for you?
4x8?
4x8
I would think
sign.
that should be sufficient enough.
You want to have the potential to have lights on it as well?
I don't know if it's necessarily going to be nights because it's going to be lights because they're going to be it's going to be during the day.
Leaving by 10.
Oh, well,
By
they're
10.
going to be leaving by then.
Noon, yeah, okay.
They're not going to be showing up.
So a 4x8 sign.
Correct.
And I'm just curious about
Sure.
parking. I didn't see that there was a ton of paved parking or
No, it's
gravel
not
parking.
paved. 'Cause,
So
some of the,
it-
yeah.
are you going to just
No,
leave
I'm not
it?
paving anything because it has the property out there already. There's adequate right now.
Right.
There's 2 pastures out there right now, and each one's 2 acres. I mean, that's plenty of parking for 200 cars. I mean, if you needed 200, so no, there's not going to be any paved parking.
Okay, very good.
I do have a question.
Sure.
So the property that is immediately in front of, towards the road of the venue that you plan on using is a cemetery.
There's a cemetery right next to it.
Yeah.
In the corner.
On the road frontage on 700?
I mean, directly. I mean, you go to weddings, people, come in and out of the venue, they walk around. I think it would be nice if it was fenced from your
Oh, to block
property.
it off so people wouldn't see it and notice
No,
it.
just walk through it.
Well,
I
Beg your
just,
pardon?
I mean,
Not
they're
to
going to be
walk.
out there in the dark.
Yeah.
They're not going to know what's there. I mean, it looks
Sure.
like a woods, but it's got some beautiful, and I mean, it's a sacred cemetery.
No, for sure. I totally agree. So I mean,
So
if
I think
I
that's
can
something
put a
that we
fence up
would
that
need
needs
to
to be.
require that he have adequate fencing to keep the public.
yeah, party goers tend to get,
Yeah, it would be good.
Alcohol does strange things.
there we go.
No, that's fine. I
Put it
mean,
out
if
They
there's-
get adventurous.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Do I have any remonstrators this evening for petition number 6? Anybody either for or against petition number 6? Hearing none, are there any additional questions or comments, concerns of the board?
I do want to point out that Mr. Vasquez is the prospective buyer, or you've already purchased the property?
No, I'm actually was a prospect, so I'm glad you guys are listening me out. So at the end of the day, right now, somebody's already put an offer on the property, so I will not wind up with this property though. But I didn't want to not show up because I wanted to go through the process because, hey, I had to go through the process. Am I not supposed to show up then?
Well, it would have saved us some time.
Yeah, but how am I going to learn then? So if I find another property down the street and I want to do
Okay,
something.
so you're not buying this
I
property.
cannot buy because somebody's
All
paid.
right,
somebody's
so
beat-
he's
somebody
disqualified
beat-
as a petitioner.
Basically, but I mean,
I do hope that you will continue to look
oh, I'm
in-
going to keep
in
looking over. You
LaPorte-
guys got
LaPorte
some
County
beautiful
for
property
some-
out here. I'm going
there
to find
are a lot
something. I
of
just got to find the right
wonderful
property.
spots.
Actually, I did find the right property. Somebody beat me out by paying cash.
Okay,
But I am
so-
second. But the thing is, though, if this deal falls through, because I'm second, they have to go through all their home inspections.
That's what I was gonna
So
say.
if.
Right.
So listen,
It's jurisdictional. He has
Right.
to. He has
so
to be,
but what happens is if the deal falls through within the next week, and you don't pass your home inspection, I'm second in line. So I mean,
All right,
there's still
well-
potential I might get the property.
you'll have to come back, but you can do the abridged version. I'll put it that
Right.
way.
You have to do it all over again. Then?
It's jurisdictional.
We have to apply again
Yeah.
and
Oh,
come in
because
front
there's
of the
no offer
board.
on the property?
But we can hear the short version instead of the Reader's
Yeah, because
Digest.
what I was coming here tonight for, if I was going to get, if it was going to get approved, then I was going to make an offer on the property.
It's not how it works. You have to have an ownership interest in the property to petition, okay? And if you have a written purchase agreement, that gives you an ownership interest. Okay, so
let me
it's
like
whether or not the BZA has jurisdiction, okay? And they don't have jurisdiction if you don't have a purchase agreement in place.
So I need to go find a property. I mean, so I have to make an offer on a property, hoping that you're going to give me a variance.
Right, you make the
You-
offer
you-
contingent on the
the
approval.
Oh, I got you.
Contingent us passing.
All right.
You
I got
listed
you.
Scott and Michelle.
I did write
Bouza.
up an offer as a contingency.
All right, so
Right. You listed
that's the
Scott
extent of your
and Michelle
education
Bouza
tonight. Let's move
sellers.
on.
Yeah, I did have a contingency that I wrote up, but it wasn't accepted based upon the
Well,
fact
it
that
has to
somebody
be
else paid cash.
accepted, okay? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right?
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
That's true.
I said on the original petition, it listed Scott and Michelle Bouza as sellers, but they, at this point in time, aren't sellers to you. That's where
Correct.
the problem lies.
Somebody else bought the property, paid cash for it.
Okay,
Well, thank you for coming in front of us
No,
this
thanks for,
evening.
hey, you know what? I learned a lot.
thank you.
So we're going to dismiss petition number 6.
So it would have worked out then,
See what
probably.
happened. I mean,
Yes.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much.
seriously.
And now I know that you guys are all here waiting for petition number 7.
Okay.
We don't usually draw a crowd this big, so petition number 7 is for clarification of an appeal to challenge the red tag and stop work determination.
I can't remember this.
And Andrew, before you get excited, I'm going to let Doug.
No, let me check. Let me check notice first.
Good evening, members of the board, Madam President, Madam Building Commissioner, and Dar, thank you for your service for so many years. If I may approach.
I can read that. I cannot believe that.
Notice is adequate.
May I proceed?
I have some introductory comments, and I want to make sure everyone understands what it is we're doing here tonight. It has literally been years since we've had an appeal of an administrative decision, and I think one board member, maybe two, have done this before. The rest have not.
Mr. BJ, if I may interrupt, I'd like to thank the BZA for having a court reporter present tonight, because obviously the record needs to be completely airtight on this with the decision that's made pursuant to Indiana Code number 1, but then number 2, obviously the LaPorte County Joint Zoning Ordinance.
All right, now, from a jurisdictional standpoint, I want to make sure everybody's clear. The BZA only has enough authority that has been granted by statute. We're a statutory animal, all right? So there are things that the BZA can and cannot do. One of those prerequisites is jurisdiction, okay? Now, the stop work order was issued on February 6, 2019. Then an appeal was filed with the Plan Commission on a timely manner. Within there's 15 days by which you have to file a petition. That petition was never rejected by the Plan Commission, although it should have been. It was not. So that matter then went to the Plan Commission. Well, the Plan Commission did not have jurisdiction to hear that case. Again, Indiana Code gives each entity jurisdiction. So then the Plan Commission voted to send this matter to the BZA. They don't have jurisdiction or authority to send it to the BZA. Now, then D&M filed a timely petition with the BZA, and here we are tonight. So, technically, this petition tonight is filed late. However, it was filed with a LaPorte County entity, and the LaPorte County entity never refused it. But since we're trying to make sure everybody receives due process, I would recommend we proceed, but I also recommend the BZA take a vote to proceed so we have a clear record in the event we're in a trial court later.
We need a motion for that.
Yes.
So if I can interrupt, with that being said, Madam President, I'd like to entertain a motion that we go ahead and hear this according to the due process of the petition with D&M Excavating, Ryan Miller, and for the represented by Andrew there, and to the challenge of the red tag stop work discrimination.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Hearing none, we'll go ahead and proceed with the
Okay, our next issue. Indiana Code 36-7-4-918.1 requires that the petitioner give us a basis of the appeal. It's a statutory prerequisite. It says they must. In reviewing the petition, there's no basis for the appeal given. Again, I think the BZA has some discretion to give the petitioner latitude in orally amending the petition to give the BZA a reason why they're appealing the building commissioner's action.
Mr. BG, if I may respond.
Yeah.
First of all, to clarify the record, my name is Andrew Volz. I'm an attorney here with Howes & Howes, and I represent, as you are well aware, D&M Excavating and Ryan Miller, its president. I would respectfully disagree with Mr. BG's position with regards to 36-7-4-919 in that paragraph 2 specifically provides for the avenue by which the appeal should be granted pursuant to section 28.02C of the LaPorte County Joint Zoning Ordinance, in that this is an appeal to the Board of Zoning Appeals based upon an administrative decision that was made by the enforcement official in the form of Ms. Poland as the building commissioner for issuing a red tag permit that reads, this pond.
I'm going to stop you there. We're not making an argument, okay? You didn't address my concern. In your petition, you didn't tell us why you're appealing. Very simple.
Respectfully, paragraph 2 specifically states that following the LaPorte County Commissioners meeting held on February 6th of 2019, the property listed above was red tagged by Building Commissioner Anne Marie Poland, stating that work is ordered stopped and a variance is required. That is the basis for the appeal, as is indicated in 3674919A, must specify the grounds. So if I am being asked to orally amend the petition, I shall do so, because those are the grounds as stated on its face in the petition.
Those aren't grounds. That's what happened. Why is this to stop work order wrong? That's what you need to tell them. That's what you're appealing. Tell us why she's wrong.
If I may, orally amend the motion, or the petition, excuse me. At this point, we believe the issuance of a red tag pursuant to all of the items that are in the red tag is improper and, in fact, illegal under Indiana law pursuant to Indiana Code 3674-1109, subsection C and subsection F, that specifically provide for the avenue in which the quote-unquote variance is inapplicable. The directions on the red tag indicate that there must be a variance required for permit renewal, and that is inaccurate. Number one. Number two, what we are seeking is, in fact, a clarification of what this red tag is concerning the property. The pond basin is complete.
We're not in an argument yet.
Mr. Beege, I'm trying to establish the record. I understand that.
Okay, we're not there yet.
Okay.
We're talking about jurisdictional basis, okay? And you just told me the reason for your appeal is the red tag says variance required for permanent renewal. Is that your only reason you're appealing the red tag?
No. The other reason why we are appealing the red tag is we are seeking clarification of what the red tag is concerning this property, because, again, the underlying permit that led to the issuance of the red tag is moot because the project is complete.
Okay. That brings us to our next item before the board. There is no statutory basis for a petition for clarification. You can appeal the action, and this is my legal opinion to the board. The board cannot explain why or why not the building commissioner did something. It is not your obligation. It is your obligation to review the building commissioner's action and either approve, deny, or modify the action of the building commissioner. There is no statutory authority whatsoever for the board to explain why the building commissioner may or may not have done something.
That if I may be considered to continue to be in an oral modification of the petition pursuant to 3674919D, I'm asking for the board to either reverse, affirm, or modify this decision, because the decision is unclear as exactly to what it pertains to. It indicates that the pond is being, and Mr. Beege, I have to bring this out because this has been tagged on my client's property, and I'm not making an argument here. I am simply stating what the red tag is that was issued by the building commissioner. Verbatim. This pond is being constructed, used in violation of the ordinance of the LaPorte County Plan Commission. Work use is ordered stopped. Obtain building permit from County Building Commissioner's Office, County Complex 809 State Street, Suite 503A, LaPorte, within blank days. And then in instructions, it states, pond permit expired 7/15/17. Variance required for permit renewal. What is the reason for a red tag if the pond basin project is complete?
It's not complete.
The BZA is not here to explain things. There's no, in any statute, anywhere, that obligates the BZA to explain to any citizen why the building commissioner did something. They are here to review the building commissioner's actions. And my advice to the BZA is don't try to explain anything because you have no knowledge as to why the building commissioner may or may not have taken any action. It's that simple. The BZA is here to hear appeals.
And the appeal is from a decision or determination made by the enforcement official that the property is red tagged. What is red tagged?
Any further construction of a pond. That's what it says right here.
So if the pond is complete,
Then why are we here?
then I'll move to withdraw the petition.
Very well. You can vote to grant.
The pond is not complete. Let's get that straight.
What are your
First and
thoughts on this,
foremost.
Annie?
Pardon me?
What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are, how about this?
Now, I don't want to get anything substantive.
The pond is not complete. There's piles of
Fine. Well,
sand.
but wait. Let's stop you
The
there.
pond's not complete.
I'm trying to make sure we have a clean record, so if this is appealed to the trial court understands what occurred procedurally, okay? If the petition's withdrawn, the red tag stays.
The pond is not complete.
You understand that? So you're withdrawing your petition?
I will not withdraw the petition based upon the statements made by the building commissioner.
Oh, my God.
It's inaccurate.
We're not presenting evidence.
Mr. BG, I understand that. And I've not presented any evidence. I have demonstrated the administrative actions that have taken place. I have evidence, all kinds of evidence that I'm ready and willing to submit. But I will not do so if you believe that it is inappropriate. I wholeheartedly concur with you.
It doesn't matter what I believe. I'm just trying to make sure procedurally we know what we're doing here, okay? We're not running in circles, and the court knows what we're deciding. You just withdrew your petition to stop the red tag, and now you're reinstating your petition.
Correct,
It doesn't make any sense.
because there's been, so to withdraw a petition for a red tag that was issued inappropriately, but then you've stated that if the project is complete, there's no red tag? The issue that I have here, and I'm sure you're well aware of this, is that I am trying, and we are trying, both myself and you as counsel for the BZA, to establish a record, because we all know this is getting appealed one way or the other. And I'm trying to exhaust, excuse me for interrupting, I apologize. I am trying to exhaust my administrative remedies so that there are no loose ends that can be used against my client.
I understand that, but you got to be clear. The Board of Zoning Appeals jurisdiction only goes so far as if something is being constructed, okay? That's the extent of its jurisdiction. Period. If construction is done, the BZA's jurisdiction disappears. If there are other disputes as to whether dirt's being moved or something like that, that's another thing. Or if the building commissioner believes it's being built, yes, the red tag applies. Okay? So we need to be careful we're not going outside of the bounds of the BZA's jurisdiction. And I'm trying to clarify what you're asking for.
And I understand that. And what I'm asking for is, pursuant to my petition and the oral modifications thereof, for an appeal of the red tag determination concerning a pond basin project that is complete. Why is the red tag in place if in fact the construction is done?
That's your opinion, Andrew. That is your opinion. It's not done.
If I could, just for a second, Shaw Freeman,
Please.
County Attorney. I'm here to also
Thank you,
represent
Andrew.
the Building Commissioner's position. I wanted to suggest, if I could, to the board, a possible way to go through this. If we can conduct it as an evidentiary hearing, this is the appellant, so he is bringing the appeal. If he wants to call Mr. Miller, I then have the opportunity to cross-examine Mr. Miller. We then put on our case, I would call Ms. Poland. That way, we get her testimony in, any documents into the record. He's got an opportunity to question her as well.
We're going to get there.
Okay.
But I'm trying to make sure. This is so sloppy. I've got to clarify what our jurisdictional basis is.
But I don't get a sense we're making headway with petitioner here on understanding the process you're trying to lay out.
I understand what you're trying to do, okay? But we've got to make sure. We can't go forward if he's saying construction's complete, but if he said the pond's done, then it's not a construction issue. Now, if they're inappropriately moving dirt out there,
If
then it
there's a
might be.
pond done, there is no authority to be out there moving any dirt. The only authority to be out there, and that's.
But you know what? We could talk about that another day because it's not a BZA issue.
I understand, but he's appealing the red tag. We say the red tag goes to the pond permit, which is now expired, and we ask an opportunity